Hello lovely viewers and subscribers.
Welcome back to our channel.
Thank you so much for tuning in. So in this video we have a lot of information in store for you. As you guys have seen on our channels, we are continuing to build our dream home in Jamaica, and in doing so we have spent a lot of money.
A whole lot.
Yes, a whole lot in the 6 weeks that we've started to progressively build, but we've also learned a lot that we want to share with you guys, especially for those who are living overseas and building and financing, self-financing their project in Jamaica. So that's who this video is geared towards. And in this video, it's really a three-part video. We are going to be discussing the cost of material now versus when we started, as well as what is being done with this project right now, where we are in the project, as well as how we are paying for this project.
Yes.
So without further ado, we're going to get right into the video. Please make sure to get a pencil and paper because I have mine here, and we're going to get right into it.
So I have my list that of materials that I started out with in 2023. So I am going to go ahead and do a comparison between then and now. So all these prices that I'm going to give to you, they are all before taxes. So in 2023, I bought 1.5 inch ton of steel for $138,000 before tax. For the 3/8 steel, I bought one length, that's one single one, for $780. For the binding wire, at that time I bought 50 pounds of binding wire, and that was $139 per pound. For the blocks, so I bought 2 sets of blocks at that time. So the first set of blocks, 6-inch blocks, that was $120,000. For the delivery, it was $13,000. And I went ahead and bought another set of block in December of 2023, and that cost came up to $128,000 with $15,000 delivery. So as you can see there, everything is increasing. All the material price are increasing, but what Jada is going to tell you guys will going to shock you. Alright, and one bag of cement back then in 2023 was $1,350. So now Jada is going to take you guys through the current prices of June 2025.
Okay, so as Jerome mentioned, that was almost 2 years ago that his prices were. So we do need to account for inflation as well as rising cost. Well, that is inflation, as well as supposedly the minimum wage increasing. So most of mine have increased except for one particular material item, which we are going to talk about in a few. One thing that I also want to just touch on really briefly before I go into the now prices is that you need to document these prices. You see how easily Jerome is able to say, okay, this was the price then and this is the price now. Well, that's because we document everything. We have Excel spreadsheets. Jerome saves all his receipts to a Google Drive, right?
Google Drive, yes.
Right.
So I save all my my receipts to a Google Drive and I label them. So if I have receipt, I would say receipt versus documents for the property, wherever, and I just put them, when I receive the files, I just put them in that file.
And the wonderful thing about technology is that you're able to bring up these files, documents, spreadsheets, photos, PDFs, whatever, anywhere that you are, because there were times that we were in Jamaica and he was able to pull it up, and times where we're here and able to pull it up. So that's very important. Now let's talk about the price now. since I have been actively involved in the construction process, because I'm not gonna lie, when Jerome was doing it in 2023, I was pregnant and miserable and not really interested. But now that I'm back actively involved, all of the material that we've gotten so far has been from coast to coast for the blocks, and for most of the material, it's been from the Pro Hardware
in Mandeville. And Phil's Hardware.
Yes, and Phil's
in Mandeville as well.
Yes, and literally what I like about them is that you can text them on WhatsApp for the quote, and then they will send it right back to you.
And I want to tell you guys, that's a beautiful idea to get their WhatsApp number.
Yes.
And send in your list of items that you would want.
So nobody can trick you.
Right, and then you can send your list of prices or materials that you want, and they will provide you with a quote.
Yeah.
And then you can also go ahead and compare the quotes.
Oh, that's a good point. See, my point was, okay, nobody can trick you. Nobody can say, all right, it's going to be $50,000 for your material when it's really $40,000 and take a $10,000 off of you. But Jerome brought up a good point: cost comparison. Which place has it for the better price? So enough talking. Let me get into it. So for cement, this is pre-tax, is $1,430. So if you can see from Jerome's quote in 2023, it was $1,350. Now it's $1,430. Concrete nails, this is 2.5 inch. Per pound is $231. Typically we get a 5-pound bag. A cutting disc is $140.30. A water boot is $3,022. A PVC pipe, 1.5 inch, 20 feet long, is $2,039.49. A PVC elbow is $29.33. Okay, now here's for the blocks. This is important. So these blocks are from coast to coast in Mandeville.
Because they have like a lot of branches all
over the island.
All over the island. So you want to make sure you check out wherever you live or wherever you're building. You want to check them out.
Yes, and there's been no complaints from the workmen about these blocks. They're perfect. They're not
and I went there a few months ago and saw it for myself. Those blocks are straight. They, as we would say, they're not broke up, and they are really sturdy and strong.
Okay, so the blocks for 1,000, 8 inch? Or 6 inch?
6 inch.
Okay, so for 1,000 6-inch blocks, it's $148,000, and for delivery, it's $12,000 to the area of Manchester that we're building in.
Right.
One thing to note is that for the blocks, they do not deliver the same day. So if you buy them, on our case, we bought them on Tuesday, and by Friday, they were being delivered. Yeah, so it depends on their roster. They too have a WhatsApp contact that you can call them or text them, and they're very pleasant. So price comparison, it was $120,000.
That was in May of 2023.
Yes.
So in May 2023, the 1,000 6-inch blocks was $120,000 with $13,000 delivery fee.
And now it's up $28,000 to make it $148,000, but delivery is $1,000 less. They took off $1,000 off of the delivery fee. All right, steel, 1/2 inch. Corrugated steel 1/2 inch is $99,910. This is the only material on this list that has actually decreased in price. So before in 2023 it was $138,000, and now it's $99,910. So that is quite a decrease. I was not expecting that. All right. One sheet of plyboard is $3,450. A 2x6x16 lumber is $2,118.75. All right, so we also bought some 125 8-inch blocks from Pro Hardware, and the reason why we did this instead of going to coast was because this was particularly for the water tank, and the person who was delivering it
was also delivering some other material, so we didn't want to cover two costs of transportation, so we just go ahead and bought it from one stop.
We just bought it from one place because it just worked out for us, and then we didn't want to wait either. So those blocks are $279.45 each at Pro Hardware in Mandeville. Next is the sand. So we don't know per se how much the sand is by itself because
per ton we don't know. I asked a guy and he said that if he's leaving from Mandeville to go to Mapen at the site to get the sand, and he charged us I think $100,000 just for a load of sand.
Yes, one truckload of sand, which is a ton, right?
Right.
Yeah. So that was $100,000, and then sand dust. This is $2,175 a ton, but delivery is the bulk of this cost.
Correction right there. It's not sand dust, it's stone dust.
Stone?
Yes, stone dust.
Stone dust. Okay, sorry. Stone dust is $2,175 a ton, but our guy, the same one who brought the sand, the truck man, he is charging what, $12,000 per delivery.
Per delivery, and it's just because I was so lucky that where the dump is coming from, it's literally like 5 minutes away.
Okay, now that brings us to the next one, the dump. This has been a very stressing occurrence, which we'll talk about next. So the dump is $8,000 per truckload for the dump. That's the cost of the dump, right? Mm-hmm. But the price to bring it is $12,000. So you're basically paying $20,000 per truckload for the dump. Now for our house, I don't know when we started building this ginormous house. I don't remember it being so large, but now we need eight truckloads of dump. Mm-hmm. Now my friend is building a 4-bedroom house in Clarendon, and he only needed 3 truckloads of dump, but here we are at 8, because we already have one truckload. 8 loads of, so you do the math. All right, now let's get into the tractor, another sore spot for us. So the tractor man is $8,000 an hour. How much did you pay before, do you remember?
It's the same price, $8,000 per hour, but if they use like the drill, they normally charge $12,000 per hour. So I was lucky enough not to have any stone in my foundation, so I only used the bucket. So the bucket was only $8,000 per hour.
And you paid what, $70,000 last time?
I think so, and they also charged me transportation fee. The transportation fee can range anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000.
But this man's not charging one, right?
No. As I said, I am lucky enough to find all these people who live close by to me, where I don't have to pay a large lump sum of money, whether to transportation, because as Jada told you guys, it's just $12,000 just for transportation of the dump. If it was coming from somewhere a little bit further, I'm pretty sure I was going to charge a hefty sum.
And let's talk about transportation costs. So initially, when we were in Jamaica and we were at the Pro Hardware, we would pay a trucker man around $5,000 for him to bring the material from Pro to where the property is. However, I lost his contact card and I lost his business card, so therefore we cannot use him again. So if you're watching this video, sir, we really would like to get back in contact with you. I think his name was MQ. What was his name? Jaquan?
I'm not sure, but
I think it was your contractor.
If you're seeing this video and you know me, reach out.
Yeah.
As we need a number, like seriously.
Yes.
We lost your flyer and you did send me if you look for you up on Instagram, but when me check back my search history on Instagram, you wasn't there. So.
What was his name?
I don't remember, but I think it was some MJ Trucking.
MJ Trucking, and I think his name was Jaquan. But anyway, so we paid him $5,000 plus a $500 tip to deliver from Pro Hardware to basically Hatfield, Manchester. However, because I lost a contact card, we had to employ somebody else, another trucker person, and because he was not stationed at Pro Hardware, he did charge a little bit more. So typically he would charge $8,000 because he had to leave from where he was, because he's not really a transport guy, more so of a farmer. So this is just a little thing that he's doing, so he charged more.
Just a little side hustle.
But yeah, a side hustle, because he has to transport. So he would charge us $8,000 to get this stuff. But the wonderful thing about him is, because he's Jerome's friend, Jerome could send him the money to his bank account, and before the money even cleared this guy's bank account, as a friend, he would go and get the material and deliver it, and we didn't have to give him directions because he's gone to the property numerous of times. He trusts Jerome to send the money, and it works out because we don't have to wait on another trucker. So transport fees are typically $8,000 to get this stuff from the hardware. There are some times where Jerome will send the money directly to the contractor to get the material, but remember, we've already gotten the quote from Pro or Phil to know how much this stuff is. And then lastly, water. So water is $10,000 to fill up the big black drum. That's how many gallons?
880.
Wow. 880 gallons. So that's the cost of material now versus back then in 2023. Now we're going to talk about what we're doing at the property now. You want to start, or you want me to start?
Alright, I will start.
Okay.
Put pause first.
So let's talk about what's going on now. So when we were in Jamaica in April to May, we made a vlog about working on the house. Now, in that video, I did talk to you guys about how we took a pause from 2023 to 2025, and God knows the time went by so fast. I don't know how that was 2 years already, but we took a pause because one, we had twin boys, and then also we bought 2 houses for our 2 twins here in Baltimore, Maryland, that we rented out. And we were just feeling a little frustrated because, as we all know, building a house in Jamaica, you're using self-financing as opposed to buying a house here with the mortgage, and there's, you save for that whatever down payment and closing costs. So we decided to take a break. We got back started, and for the last 6 weeks, man, we have really come out of foundation. We've come up way further than where we were, and Jerome is going to tell you about where we are now.
So we are at, from my contractor, he's basically telling me that the windows and doors are starting to farm out. When in 2022, when I was doing the building plan, the architect said to me that if I remember correctly, you are going to have a basement. And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure the land is pretty flat. But no, the contractor looked at me and said, you are going to have a basement. And I didn't remember when the architect said to me that I was going to have a basement. I was just going with the flow and saying the land is already flat, I don't really need to have a basement. But to my surprise, yes, we are going to have a basement. So
the basement is going to be 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen, and a dining room, self-contained.
Right, and we are going to use that basement for investment purposes. we are going to rent it out.
But don't let Jerome's mom see this, because she already started planning out the wallpaper, the flooring in there, because the lights, because she already, even though she has like 100 houses, she just knows she's gonna live with her last son. But the wonderful thing about this basement, like Jerome said, is, you know, we are real estate investors, and our goal is to move back to Jamaica by the time our children start, you know, school properly. And so this could be advantageous for us to have this basement, because it will allow us to rent it out long term or possibly short term on Airbnb. So that is that. And go ahead, Jerome, sorry.
And also I was looking at the shape of the land the other day, and I was telling Jada, maybe we can
I don't want to talk about that right now. That will be a surprise for later.
Alright, so you have a cut on that part then?
No, we'll keep it in, but they'll know something is coming.
Alright, so a surprise is coming. Jada has something. We both have something in the bag for you guys to reveal in the coming years or coming weeks. So yeah, so we are out of foundation. We are doing the basement. We are putting in a tank as well. That's when we're going to use the 8-inch blocks to build the tank. And also this week we are going to do tomorrow actually we are going to do backfilling. So backfilling is like we are gonna get the dump, and the tractor guy is going to come and put in all that dump, that stone dump and everything into the building, and just leveling it out so that
it could be a floor height.
A floor height, right.
Yeah. And so tomorrow, as Jerome said, the tractor man is coming. He's going to be digging out the 2 rooms in the basement. And the wonderful thing about this basement is that it will be the first thing to be done, because the foundation is already done. It just has to be blocked up to decking. And since our last video, and within these 6 weeks, the men have run out 1,000 blocks. 987 blocks that we had left at the site. So we had to order an additional 1,000 blocks. So 2,000 blocks have already been done, and that is from the foundation as well as where we are now, which you'll see on the screen, which is basically having the windows and doors start to form. We have another 1,000 blocks, and that will hopefully be enough for the basement to complete the basement and get us up to
lintel.
Yes, and belting. Right. So that's where we are now. So as we talked about, the tractor is going to be charging $8,000 an hour with no delivery fee, and I really hope it takes 1 hour. No, I'm just kidding.
And also you guys can. It's always best to shop around and see which one of the tractors are giving you the better options, because I almost threw money down the drain for not shopping around.
Yes.
So let me tell you a little story. So I was just depending on this one guy. This one guy was charging me like $130,000 just to dig out the tank and two rooms in the basement. Just $130,000, in which the tank, he's suggesting to us that we need to put the tank underneath. I told the contractor, no, I don't want the tank underneath. I want it like 2 feet. I just want him to dig the tank about 2 feet. So, and he's charging me $130,000.
When most tractor men are charging by the hour.
By the hour, right. So
how long will it take you? You don't know.
I don't know. He don't know. And he was basically saying to me that it's going to take about 1 to 2 days to do the tank, the basement, and do some backfilling. So he's going to charge me $130,000 just for the tank and the basement, and then now he will go ahead and charge me hourly for the backfilling. So he said something about wrong with his tractor, so I was like, okay, alright, cool. I moved on. I find another guy.
And before we even talk about that, let's talk about professionalism, because this tractor person, this man, right? He said, all right, I'm going to be there Saturday. Saturday comes in the middle of the day. He says, oh, I can't come Saturday. I'm going to be there Monday. Monday comes. He's oh, something's wrong. I have to take it to the welder. I understand things happen, right? Things happen. But at the same time, if you're doing a job and you're saying that you're a business owner, therefore you need to tell your client, hey, I'm not going to be able to come today. I'm going to have to come next week. And when next week comes, you need to be there. And so this is really why we ended up not going with this person, because when Jerome was going through this frustration with the punctuality and the scheduling of this man, right, I said, let's try to find somebody else. And he started reaching out to his contacts in Jamaica, and this is where this person came up, and he actually did the next door neighbor's home as well, and he's been nothing but professional. And the point of saying all of that is this man would have probably gotten the money from us, no problem, to say, okay, we're going to spend the $130 and just be done with it. But the fact that it was so hard to get him to actually come and perform the work is why he lost out, because we just could not wait, especially because our contractor and our workmen are coming all the way from St. Catherine all the way to Manchester, and they have to get on the toll every day, so they can't just wait for you when you feel like coming. Wow, that sounds so angry.
So that's one of the things, is always just to shop around,
right,
and weigh your options.
Weigh your options. If it doesn't feel right, move on. All right, now we're going to talk about how... Oh, you wanted to say something?
So I was just going to say, with this new tractor guy, he sound very... We could have get the backfilling and everything done on our end already. It's just because the contractor had some other engagements. Yeah. So we had to reschedule. Right. But I'm pretty sure if everything was going according to plan, we would have already gotten it done.
Well, yeah, we would have been done, but we also have to wait because the contractor is Jerome's brother, and he is a wonderful person, and we have to wait because, again, he is coming all the way from St. Catherine, Spanish Town to be exact, and bringing his workmen all the way across the toll every day. So we know that is difficult, and this man is a big contractor, so he has other jobs, other big contracts going on. So our little house has to just wait until he's available, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Right. We just have to wait, and that gives us time to talk about what we're going to talk about next, the money. So, as we have indicated,
the money.
As we have talked about, this is self-financed, right? And let me tell you guys, and I'm sorry to be taking over this video, but I have to say this. Alright, so me as an American now, right? Everybody knows that Americans just take on so much debt. So for me, when I think about buying a house, building a house, construction, all of this, I think of loans, mortgages. I put down my money and I leverage my money and I get a mortgage, and then I pay the mortgage back, and in 30 years, the house is mine, right? But what I appreciate about Jamaica and other countries is that that's not the way it goes. That's not how it works. You are going to pay for that house, and then what's nice about it is when you're done paying for the house, you can lay up in the house and say, you know what, I'm not going to go to work for 2 weeks because my house is already paid for. But in America, you better get your behind up and get to work, because if you don't pay for that mortgage, they're going to come knocking. Hello, foreclosure. Right. So all of that to say, we are self-financing this house. Every mickle makes a muckle. Every little dollar I have goes towards it. You guys see my hair needs to be done right now, right? But guess what?
We are building blocks on blocks.
Right. So, how are we paying for it, Jerome?
I'm gonna give you, in raw Jamaican terms, hustling. We're doing some hustling on the side. Do you wish to share what type of hustling?
Well, let me start by saying this. So, obviously we're married, even though neither one of us have on our rings right now, right? And the point of saying that is to say we're in a lifetime committed partnership, and I don't know if this will apply for everybody who is watching this video, but one thing that we're doing to build this house, number one, is that we have to come together and say, what is our goal, right? So, for example, if your goal is to retire in Jamaica and you're near our age, in your early 30s, late 20s, then you know, all right, I have 30 years to build this house because I'm going to retire at 60. So by 60, my house needs to be done, right? So it's not really a pressure to you. As you get the money, you send it, no big deal. Over the years, you just do one room at a time. But for us, our goal is to say we want to live there. Jerome wants to leave America, right? Right. So Jerome wants to leave America. I want my children to be raised. I want my boys to be raised in Jamaica. I want them to be around their family, their sister, everything. So our goal is like a short-term goal, as in the next 3 years, we want this house to be done and livable, right? So with that being said, it puts a timeline right there to say, like, you better hurry up. So the point of that is to say, because we want to move so much sooner, we have to really put our foot on the gas and speed along to our destination of being able to live there the next 3 years. So we do all kind of things. I've already indicated that we have 2 properties here. Both of those are rented out. We have not touched that cash flow from those 2 properties ever at all. You know what I mean? And there's some people who live on their cash flow to say, okay, this month I want a new wig. No, we don't
save every dollar.
Every dollar. The only time that we spend money is to say if we need something at the property, a material. But even with the labor, one of the tenants is a really good
contractor.
Yeah.
Not contractor, but handy guy.
Yeah, he's a handyman. And so if he does something at the property, we will take it off his rent. So it doesn't necessarily come out of our pocket. And just for the first time after over a year of owning one of those properties, we finally took $2,000 and sent it to Jamaica to buy the blocks and pay for some other little material items. And that was the first time. And then, as well as I am a property manager, so when I get my payment from property management, then I send that too. I also do mystery shopping. So there's a website called EPMS Online, and if you guys are not aware, it's basically when you mystery shop for apartments, and you basically write a review of how the leasing person did, and you can get anywhere from $40 to $100 just for the one time of going there and then filling out the report. I get paid with that monthly. I send that to Jamaica. I also do Uber Eats. Me and Jerome do Uber Eats sometimes and run the road. Every little dollar gone.
Straight to Jamaica.
Straight to Jamaica, like every little dollar. And so on my spreadsheet, I write down how much do we send to Jamaica. How do I send it? Like just today, I got paid from the EPMS. That was $135. Every mickle makes a muckle. I sent that to Jerome's card so he can send it off to Jamaica. That can buy, 5 bags of cement and some nails or whatever. Like, and just within the 6 weeks that we've been working since you saw our last video, we have already sent over $1 million to Jamaica. And I can tell you that money has just come from straight hustling. That's not even touching Jerome's pay because we live on that. That's just touching my hustling. That's not even touching the cash flow from the property. That's just straight hustling. And so that is how we're financing this property. That is what we're doing. If we get some type of big money because sometimes money could just come to you and you don't know where it came from, straight to Jamaica. And I can see already in the 6 weeks where we've been actively trying to say, like, let's get it done, things are going on.
Things are moving.
Right?
Yeah, there's a lot of things happened since then. because remember we started to do the columns, and buying materials and everything. Because
the fact that you can say the window is going to be right here, and you can see where the window is going.
Right. So there are a lot of things going on, and
it's a big Rosclot house because even
it is really a big house.
Even his brother said, "How many generations are you going to have in this house?" And I said, "It's only 4 bedrooms, but then to add the basement, that's 6 bedrooms,
right.
And then the bedrooms are large because Jerome designed one of the rooms to take up from here all the way down to the other side." And I said, "You sure you want a room that big?" And he said, "Yes." So right now,
so that's the master bedroom.
The master bedroom is for our master
bedroom,
and that's why you think I'm trying to stay in America with this little flimsy board right here. I'm trying to get into my concrete house. So right now, every little dollar that I get goes into that house because I'm trying to get the hell out of this apartment.
Right. So it's just because of the basement I misjudged, and I didn't remember when the architect told me that you're going to have a basement. Without this architect was so good that he didn't even do a site visit, but I think he's familiar with the area. So,
and also, I'm sure they can tell from the diagram that they get of the land.
Right. So, but I didn't send him the diagram at the time.
So he just knew.
He just knew that I was going to have a basement at that time. So without me saying, okay, you let's do a site visit. No.
And the basement is a blessing in disguise because it will allow us, as I made many videos where we've talked about, us using real estate to perpetuate our goals of financial independence and freedom.
Mm-hmm.
That's it right there.
So you have one property.
It's multi-family.
Just turn it into a multi-family.
Yep. So they're gonna help us pay whoever takes it on, because even if we rent it for $50,000 a month, that's $50,000 a month that I did not have.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And that I can use to pay my mortgage.
And exactly. And the mortgage is not much because it's just for the land.
Right.
It's not like in America where the whole freaking house is mortgaged.
And if you are watching this video and you are young, and I just want to tell you, just get a mortgage. Because in Jamaica, and Jada, I was telling Jada this one time, where one of the biggest factor in Jamaica is your age when you're taking out a mortgage. The older you are, you're going to pay a bigger mortgage. The younger you are, you're going to pay a smaller mortgage.
And even right now, even though I am not Jamaican, I am trying to get an NHT right now because I'm going to live there, and I'm hoping by the time I move there, I will be done. If I would have did it when Jerome told me to do it, I would have had my scheme house by now, but that's besides the point.
She wants to become a voluntary contributor.
Yeah, so we're going to do a video on that because I already got the papers from NHT, and we're going to talk about that. But at this point, we're going to have to end this video, y'all, because we have to go pick up our kids. So, thank you so much for watching.
Make sure to subscribe or leave a review.
Yes, leave a review.
Yeah.
No, they can't leave a review. Leave a comment.
Yeah, a comment.
This is not
definitely.
Google. So leave a comment, like, subscribe. Let us know if this is the type of material that you want, and let us know if you have any questions. We'll be happy to answer it. And we're just going to keep building. So please keep us in your prayers. And remember, every miko makes a muckle. Even if it's $20, send it to Jamaica. It adds up.
Yeah, it does.
You could buy 2 bags of cement for that. So anyway, we'll see you guys in our next video.
Peace
Bye.
out.